Imagine it is 2 in the morning, the whole house is perfectly still, and you are standing over a sleeping baby, maybe your own child, maybe a younger sibling. And just as you are about to tiptoe away, it happens. A smile, slow and soft and absolutely perfect, spreading across that tiny sleeping face with no warning and no explanation. And in that moment, something happens inside you that is very hard to put into words. A warmth so sudden and so overwhelming that your eyes fill with tears before you even realize it. And you stand there frozen in the dark wondering, what is that baby smiling about? What are they seeing behind those closed eyes? Where exactly have they gone? And does that smile mean what it feels like it means? That question has haunted parents across every culture and every generation. And the answer that science has assembled is so much more extraordinary than most people expect, that understanding it fully does not just explain the sleeping smile. It changes something about the way you understand what is happening inside that tiny person every single night, in the quiet hours when the house is still and the world thinks nothing important is going on, when in fact something magnificent is. To understand the sleeping smile, you first need to know something about how a baby spends its time asleep, because a newborn sleeps between 16 and 18 hours a day and spends nearly half of all that sleep, almost 50%, in the state called REM sleep, the stage most associated with dreaming in adults, during which the brain is electrically active at levels that nearly match wakefulness, the eyes move rapidly beneath closed lids, and the face moves through an entire silent vocabulary of expressions, frowns, pouts, looks of surprise, and that smile, that sudden, unmistakable, world-stopping smile. And for years, the official scientific position was that these expressions were reflexive, meaningless, random firings of an immature nervous system, that the sleeping baby's smile was essentially noise, a biological hiccup with no emotional content behind it. But here is the first twist, because more recent research has begun to challenge that position in ways that are genuinely extraordinary, finding that newborn sleeping smiles involve the same muscle activation patterns, the same neurological circuits, as the genuine social smiles that appear in waking life and that are directly linked to positive emotional states. Which means the reflex explanation starts to look far less convincing, and the question of what is actually behind the smile starts to look far more interesting. Here is the second twist, and this one is perhaps the most beautiful. Developmental neuroscientists studying what infant REM sleep is actually doing have found that the sleeping baby brain is not resting. It is working at full intensity, consolidating every sensory experience of the waking hours, strengthening newly built neural connections, processing and filing the emotional content of the day, and the smiles that flicker across the baby's face during this process may be the outward signal of something genuinely joyful happening inside, a neural echo of a pleasant experience being processed, a moment of warmth being filed under safe, a connection being made that feels, on some level the baby cannot name or articulate, unmistakably good. Which means that when your baby smiles in their sleep, they may be reliving something kind that happened to them while they were awake, a moment of being held, a voice they love, a warmth that felt like safety. And the smile is the brain saying, yes, this was good. Remember this. This is what good feels like. And if that is true, then every gentle thing you do for your baby during the day is not just a moment that passes. It is material that gets carried into the night and processed and smiled about in the dark, which is one of the most tender ideas that science has ever offered to anyone who has ever loved a baby and wondered whether any of it was landing. So, the next time you stand over a sleeping baby and see that smile arrive in the middle of the night, like a small gift from somewhere you cannot follow, lean in, let it reach you, and know that somewhere in the quiet interior of that sleeping mind, something good is being remembered. Subscribe for more Mind Secrets.